Good morning, dear students of class 7. Welcome to online class from LPM Public School, Gola Bajar, Gorakhpur. Student, I am a science teacher, DPS sir, and as you know, the chapter acid, bases and salt is under process. And under this topic, I am going to explain about the topic bases. So student, listen very carefully what I am going to explain about the properties and uses of bases. So student, let's start the chapter acid, base and salt. Student, this is the fifth chapter which is under process, acid, base and salt. Bases. So student, what is bases? Bases are substances that taste bitter and feel slippery to touch. Bases are such substances that while doing testing of it feel bitter and soapy in touch. Substance that is bitter and soapy in touch. Such substance which has got such property of bitterness and soapy in touch is called base. Okay student? So most commonly used bases are sodium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide, ammonium hydroxide. So these are the bases that are most commonly used, and in most of the bases hydroxide are the element which are added to the other element. It forms basic in nature. Just for example, sodium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide and ammonium hydroxide. Okay, now student, sodium hydroxide, okay, that is NaOH, calcium hydroxide, that is CaOH, and ammonium hydroxide, that is NH4. NH4 means ammonia and OH means hydroxide. Ca means calcium and OH means hydroxide. Na means sodium and OH means hydroxide. So these are the most commonly bases. Okay student, now next I am going to explain about the alkalis. What is alkalis? What do you mean by the word alkalis? Such bases that could dissolve in water. The bases that could dissolve in water forms alkalis. So soluble bases is called alkalis. So the bases that can dissolve in water, student, are called alkalis, and all alkalis are bases. We must clear one thing, that all alkalis that could dissolve in water could be called base, but it is not 100% that all the bases present could dissolve in water. No, there are certain bases that can't be able to dissolve in water. So only such bases that can dissolve in water are called alkalis. That means alkalis is formed by the dissolving of base with and water. So in all the alkalis, the bases what are present could be called as a base, but all the bases are not alkalis. Next one, as an acid I have explained you, there are few strong acid and few weak acid. Same way in case of base also. There is some strong base and some weak base. That I am going to explain you about that. Just like caustic soda and caustic potash is a example of strong base. Caustic soda and caustic potash. Is a strong base. So example, caustic soda and caustic potash is a strong base, and thus less hydrolyzed solutions, that is the magnesium hydroxide and ammonium hydroxide, are not soluble in water, but they are naturally produce less hydroxide ions, and they are the weak bases. So student, magnesium hydroxide and ammonium hydroxide and ammonium hydroxide are the two weak bases which contain less hydrogen ions. The bases that contain less hydrogen ions, student, are the weak bases. Okay. So less hydrogen ions are the weak bases. Now further, let's go to explain about the properties of bases. Student, properties of bases. So, in properties, first of all, the bases are soapy in touch. That means if you touch it, you feel just like you are touching a soap. So, bases are soapy in touch. And next, they are bitter in taste. Okay, and strong bases like sodium hydroxide are very corrosive in nature. So they are soapy in touch. Next, bitter in taste, and strong bases like sodium hydroxide are very corrosive in nature. So student, strong base like sodium hydroxide are corrosive in nature and they react with acid. When the base react with acid, it neutralizes and forms salt. So when a base reacts with acid, it neutralizes and forms antacids. So student, these are the 4 properties of bases. That is, bases are soapy in touch, they are bitter in taste, they are strong bases like sodium hydroxide are very corrosive in nature, react very vigorously in nature, student, and base react with acid. When a base reacts with acid, it neutralizes and forms a salt, you can say antacids. Okay student, when too much of acidity take place in the stomach, a magnesium hydroxide naming tablet which we consume, which contain base, and that basis when goes and dissolve in our stomach and react with acid and neutralize the acid, that is the antacids. Okay student, next I am going to explain about the uses of bases. So this property of bases is clear. Base are soapy in touch, base are bitter means कड़वा. अगर बेसिस को हम जीभ पे रखेंगे, बेस के कोई सब्सटेंसेस को, तो वो स्वाद में कड़वा लगेगा, कड़वाहट महसूस होगा. That means वो बेस है. Strong bases like sodium hydroxide are very corrosive in nature, and bases react with acid, it neutralizes and form the antacids. So student, next I am going to explain about the uses. Where are the base used? So most of what you can see used in soap you will find, in lime water you will find, in medicine you will find, and in window cleaner also base is present. So now what is my next topic is neutral substances. What is neutral substances? Neutral means which is neither acidic in nature nor basic in nature. The substances which are neither acidic in nature nor basic in nature are called the neutral substances. Just for example, those substances which are neither acidic nor basic is called the neutral substances. As for example, pure water or distilled water, which is neither acidic nor basic in nature, glucose, cane sugar and common salt. are the example of neutral substances. So student, today I have explained about the base. What is base? What is the properties of base? Okay student. What is alkalis? Where it is used? And what is neutral substances? So hope so you have understood the explanation of today's video, and meet you in the next video. Whatever the task work given from here, you must do it student. Thank you. Have a nice day.